If you don't want to go for the full top shelf N model, this i30 N Line is a great alternative. It still carries through that sleek design with the new look front end. The 2024 model's also got updated alloy wheels in black. And it's got the black trimmings all around the windows, the side mirrors, and a very neat little black spoiler at the back. I think it looks really nice, especially from the back. It's got that full width taillight trim and that spoiler as well. It just, yeah, it looks very distinctive, very sharp and very modern. And then down below you have a diffuser area, or kind of a diffuser, with twin exhaust pipes. I love the aero kit on this as well. Black little skirting around the bottom, little silver bits down below. Pretty chunky side skirts. And then a front lip spoiler with more silver highlights. I've always loved the regular model, let alone the N Line model, just because it's very practical, roomy inside, and offers really good handling. Hyundai has made some updates for the 2024 model, including putting the sport button or the drive mode button up there. There used to be this kind of weird little feature there that didn't do anything, and it's got the twin digital screens as well. Very sporty bucket seats, so they've got nice side bolsters to hold you in. They feel pretty good too, it's nice leather. And you've got this sort of wraparound center console with good amount of storage, a wireless phone charger down there, and a decent size center console box. Passenger space is really good. I think this is a great all-rounder. It might be a default car, like it's just a sedan, but it's just a good size, I think. Like you can easily get 4 or even 5 adults in here and still feel comfortable. It's like reminds me of like the size of the early Ford Falcons and Holden Commodores almost. You've got some futuristic elements in here too, the way this all wraps around, and you've got these lines that go all the way across to emphasize width, and then red highlighting for the N Line model. And I do like the way that it's got separate climate control, so you don't have to dig into the screen. And you've got some main menu options here as well. So it's all pretty practical. It does come with an annoying speed zone warning system, but you just go into the vehicle settings here, speed, and you can turn it off. But this is not one of the most modern Hyundais, because in some of the latest models and even Genesis models, you can turn the warning off, but you still can keep the indicator there that tells you what speed limit it is. Whereas this, you have to turn the whole thing off and it gets rid of the indicator altogether. But it is a great touchscreen. I like the way that it's just got this sort of almost like a grid layout of apps. Very simple, then a home button there as well. And then yeah, those main menu buttons down there if you want to quickly jump to something. And then in the back, you can even see before I get in that it's just a good amount of room. It's nice and practical. Even the center hump there is not too big, so you can sit in the middle. And you do have climate vents and twin charging ports. Overall room, I'm sitting kind of reclined, which is, it's nice, it's comfortable and it's relaxing. But you do sort of sit behind that C-pillar there. It's not really a problem, it's just, you know, you might get a little bit claustrophobic, I suppose, but not really. Like I've still got great visibility all around the front, even out the side windows there. Yeah, I think it's just an ideal sized vehicle really. You don't need anything bigger than this unless you've got, you know, a big growing family. Decent sized boot as well, and you can actually fold down the rear seats if you need more space. And you've got a space saver spare wheel under the floor. Out on the road you can feel this is a sporty sedan. The suspension it's not bone jarringly firm, but it's definitely a sporty setting. So you can feel the bumps, but they're not too harsh. Remembering this is not a full-on hot hatch or hot sedan, it's kind of just a warm hatch. But it does mean you get awesome handling. It actually remains very flat, very neutral, even if you push it hard around corners. It does have Goodyear Eagle F1 tyres, which are very good tyres. But yeah, so I'll push it a bit around this corner here. And it just rails around. It's surprisingly good handling, considering it's not a full-on hot hatch or hot sedan type of model. You can feel those bumps. It's, you know, not as smooth as something like a Toyota Camry or something like that, but I think it's definitely livable. It's not into hot hatch territory, it's just firmer than a standard vehicle. In terms of the transmission, yeah, look, to be honest, it's not ideal for this type of vehicle in my opinion, but I do get why Hyundai fit it in the first place. So this sort of powertrain, this 1.6 turbo, originally launched with this style of transmission. I think it would be better with a torque converter automatic, even like the 8-speed from the Kona N Line. But in saying that, you know, if you want to engage in some sporty driving, you can flick it across to manual and you do get very quick shifts. Even the downshifts. Yeah, they're very quick. So quicker than what you'd get from a torque converter automatic. You've got a pretty gnarly sort of pop from the exhaust during upshifts as well. Again, considering this is not a full hot hatch model or hot sedan model. But yeah, you can play around with the paddle shifters and enjoy a more engaging drive than you would in, say, definitely compared with a CVT automatic, but even compared with a torque converter automatic, it's just a bit sharper. But it does mean that when you're driving normal and just in D, there is some delay going from reverse and drive, and on hills, it's sort of, there's this clutch take-up delay, like you'd have with a manual basically. So in that sense, yeah, a torque converter would be a bit more comfortable and probably better suited, considering this is not a full hardcore performance model. In terms of fuel economy, I'm averaging 9.4 litres per 100 kilometres, but I think you could get that down to about 8 reasonably easy with more conventional driving. I've been doing a lot of testing and so on. So you could, yeah, expect 8 or 8.5 in the real world. You've got 4 different driving modes to choose from, including normal, eco, sport, and smart. The smart mode tries to adapt to your driving style. So if you're be a bit aggressive with the throttle, it'll go into sort of a sportier setting. But then if you're out on the highway, it'll just try and focus on economy. The sport mode is definitely, you know, changes the powertrain to a more aggressive calibration, so it will downshift and hold the gears for longer. But it doesn't change any fundamental mechanical components like dampers or even the exhaust. I do notice that when you're idling and you put it in sport mode, the idle just comes up a little bit. But yeah, so there's a difference in idle decibel reading just as you switch over, but it's got nothing to do with a bimodal exhaust pipe or muffler system or anything like that. Under the bonnet, we've got the familiar 1.6 turbo petrol 4-cylinder engine. It is a smart stream engine, so it does, you know, carry through Hyundai Kia's latest technologies, but it produces the same 150 kilowatts and 265 newton meters. I think 150 kilowatts is a good level for an intermediate vehicle like this. It's just the right amount of power to have fun. Surprisingly good 0 to 100 times. If you can get it off the line with the DCT transmission, you can actually get a really good time out of it. But yeah, it's just tricky to sort of try and build up the revs. Obviously you can't do that with a DCT. Overall, I think this is an awesome intermediate performance model. So if you don't want to go for the full high-end, you know, N model, then you can drop back to something like this and still get pretty much the complete experience, except for some of the drive modes and the noises and things and the hardcore suspension and brakes. But you know, if you're just driving it predominantly on the road or all the time on the road, never taking it to the track, then you'll have almost just as much fun in something like this, especially if you know, got to stick to the speed limits and so on. So you can actually nail this a bit more than you can in the full N model, because that's, you know, picks up too much speed too quickly, whereas this you can actually fang it around a bit and you're not going too fast too quickly. Speaking of going fast, let's go out now and do the performance test and see what it goes like.